Kamala Harris drops out of the presidential race in Impeachment Gate 2019 heats up. My name is Sean Clinton, and this is the Guide and Freedom Show. Alrighty guys, I hope everyone has had a great week so far. Happy Friday. And I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. But we have a lot to get to today, so let's not waste too much time here. So, the first thing I want to get to is Kamala Harris. As you know, probably all know, Kamala Harris was one of the Democratic candidates to run for president. For a little bit, she was considered a front runner, but then she dropped in the polls very badly. But was on Tuesday that she announced that she is basically dropped out of the race, no longer running. So yeah, we bid her a fond farewell. So before we get to all kind of the details behind, let's give her some kind of dramatic music and all that good stuff. So sad. We won't miss her. Alright, reality is that she was a terrible candidate. She was a very bad candidate. She threatened to throw everyone in jail. She threw everyone, pretty much half of California in jail, so gets this, it's in her blood. But yeah, of course, people were outraged as usual, saying it's the most interesting part. People were outraged at Kamala because they were looking at Kamala as the new Obama or whatever. But given that Obama was a good candidate, and that's why he won, and while he was a garbage president, he did campaign better than Kamala. Kamala was just a terrible candidate all around. So, but of course, the media is not going to take it that way. They're taking it as this is all about racism or whatever. So let's go to actual piece from I think the New York Times about this whole thing. It's so dumb. Hold on. Come on. So this piece in the New York Times is titled, Democrats ask, do we really want an all-white Final Four? And here's what it says. Senator Cory Booker strode outrage here with a question, one that voters, activists, and disgruntled members of the Democratic National Committee are also making in the wake of Senator Kamala Harris's sudden departure from the 2020 race. In a year that began with the inauguration of the most diverse class of House Democrats and quickly built to a barrier-breaking lineup of presidential candidates, do Democrats want an all-white slate of top-tier candidates to be the face of their party in 2020? What message is that sending that we heralded the most diverse field in our history, and now we're seeing people like her dropping out of this campaign? Mr. Cory Booker asked a crowd here Thursday morning. He added that Ms. Harris led the race not because Iowa voters, not because Iowa voters have a voice. Voters did not determine her destiny. With Harris out and Mr. Booker, the former Housing Secretary Julian Castro, Representative Tulsi Gabbard, and the businessman Andrew Yang, yet to qualify for the Democrat December debate, and former Governor Deval Patrick of Massachusetts too late in injury to have a real shot at the stage. The Democratic primary is facing a reckoning. In 2 weeks, Democrats will gather in Los Angeles for a debate that is likely to feature an entirely white roster. That is not several candidates and prominent party members say how the party that emphasizes diversity and fairness should want to represent itself. So great. Some blame the rules for qualifying for the debates. The polling requirements give an advantage to candidates who can invest in extensive television advertising to get their name out. Others know, however, the candidates of color in 2020 field have not drawn significant support from Black and Latino voters. You wanna know why? Because they're all terrible. The only two Democrats running in this race was Kamala Harris and now is Cory Booker, and both of them are terrible candidates, and they have pretty much no Black support whatsoever. Rightfully so. Mr. Booker has been particularly critical of the debate criteria this week. His criticism, of course, comes at a crucial juncture for his campaign, where missing the debate stage could prove unrecoverable. And while he makes universal appeals to reform the process, Mr. Booker also likely stands to gain the most by any change in the rules or bump in the polling following Mrs. Harris' exit. The push for a more diverse field and to connect with Black voters is, of course, directly linked to Mr. Booker's campaign. He emphasizes his biography on the trail. He spoke after the Thursday event of the pain his Black family members expressed to him, feeling Ms. Harris has been held to an unfair standard. It's really unfortunate that the party that's seeking justice, fairness, and inclusion has created a set of rules that could be undermined so easily, and also the rules that don't reflect ultimately what has determined outcomes here in Iowa. Mr. Booker said in a news conference following his speech, taking explicit issue with billionaire candidates flooding airways to juice their polling. In his hastily arranged speech tacked onto his 4-day swing in Iowa, Mr. Booker had the crowd of more than 150 applauding his calls for a more diverse slate. He made repeated pleas for support, even instructing voters to not to screen their calls when it might be a pollster on the line. Pick up the phone and answer, "Please choose me," he said. So, according to Cory Booker, what he's saying here is that in order for the Democratic Party to be diverse and everything, they had to choose him. The problem is that he's not as bad as Kamala Harris, but he's still pretty bad. He's when you see him on the debate stage, he just over dramatized everything. He has overreaction to every little thing. like Mr. Potato Head like put on anger guys or something like that. It's so ridiculous. So I mean, when you're a terrible candidate, you can't expect people to be behind you no matter what the color of the skin is. But what Booker is saying here is that if they don't choose him, that means that Democrats are racist. I mean, that's pretty much what he's been saying, is that he's calling his own Democratic field racist if they don't choose him as the primary, as the nominee, which is just sweet justice. Like, I can tell, like this is, it's so hilarious and everything. Like for years, like Democrats have called like Republicans racist and all that, but now they're getting the brunt of it by these far left candidates calling them the racists. Now, I'm sure that's going to go over well in 2020. I'm sure the Democrats who like are being targeted by this, like who don't like Booker, are so going to feel like, okay, I mean, yes, they call us racist, but we're going to vote for them anyways. No. But they're going to probably get fed up with it, like what conservatives did, and probably go for Trump. So as of right now, I mean, all who is really left in the Democratic field is just like, we got Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, then we got Andrew Yang, Pete Buttigieg, Cory Booker, who's like very the bottom of the field. We got Amy Klobuchar, Tom Steyer, who I did not know who was even in the race until the last Democratic debate. But yeah, I mean, the Democratic field is just shrinking and it's getting worse. For example, Elizabeth Warren, she has been dropping in the polls, like, pretty badly. Like, I know, like, I've been saying for the past, like, couple weeks or so that she is most likely to be the candidate. I mean, but after seeing the polling that's been coming out, I don't see that happening. I think, at this point, probably Joe Biden is going to be the nominee. Now, as I've been saying for the past like few episodes or so, like, I always thought like Joe Biden has had the best chance, stronger chance to beat Trump, but now I don't see him beating Trump. Like, he's just odd, like very, very odd. So like, here's a video of him like talking about like hairy legs or something like that. It's so weird. And yeah, this is gonna be just audio, of course, but yeah.
Roaches, I learned about kids jumping on my lap.
Hold on. There we go.
And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach into the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They'd look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. And I tell you what. And by the way.
See what I mean? Like, he's just an odd guy. And like for the past like couple of days, like or so, like he's been like going hard at the people who are like opposing him. Like, people have asked him like, what's he had to say about his like son Hunter Biden being, in the midst of this investigation of Ukraine or whatever, and like he's been like snappy and nasty to them. Like, he like called the guy fat or whatever nonsense. But at this point, I just don't see him beating Trump. It's probably going to be competitive, but I still think Trump will pull it off at the end. Alright, so we got Kamala Harris out of the way. Let's get into Impeachment Gate 2019. Yeah, I'm I'm done with this impeachment thing right now. Like, honestly, I've not been paying attention to it too much because it's all nonsense. Like, they got no reason to impeach him. Like, remember, all this started with back in July. Trump made a call to the Ukrainian president, and basically what he wanted is like he wanted in exchange for aid, he wanted to try to investigate Ukraine's 2016 election interference, which is something I think is legitimate to look into. But to be fair, though, I mean, President Trump is getting bad information from Giuliani. I think like, there's no supporting evidence to support Trump's claim on that whole thing, but I think it needs to be looked to. But I mean, other than that, I mean, basically, what the Democrats' case is that he did this. He wanted in exchange for to give them military aid. He wanted Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden in order to stop Joe Biden from being the nominee. There's not been any evidence to support that whatsoever. Yes, there was a quid pro quo. Of course there was, but it wasn't. You gotta remember, not every quid pro quo is illegal. And the quid pro quo that Trump engaged in was not illegal or impeachable. It was bad, of course. It was very bad. He's using bad information from his lawyer to initiate some kind of quid pro quo, but it's not impeachable. So of course that doesn't matter to Democrats whatsoever. They're gonna push this all they can, as far as they can, and like Adam Schiff has admitted as much. He basically said that we can't wait for all the facts to come out. We got to rush this in because every day Trump is in office, he's a threat to our democracy and constitution or whatever nonsense. And the idea that Democrats are actually doing this for constitutional reasons to solely support the Constitution and all that is complete BS. What you want to do, all you want to do is they want to get him out. That's all they care about. They don't care about the whole legal stuff, or they don't care about his character qualms or whatever. They only want him out because he had the audacity to stand up to them in the media, and they can't have that. And they had audacity to beat them in 2016, and they can't have that either. So, yeah, and that's what this is all about. Like, anybody who says that Democrats care about the Constitution, that's why they're doing this and all that, is complete BS. And the reason why it's BS is that they actually got in was on Monday or Tuesday, I believe. Again, I've not been paying attention too much to it because I'm done with it. But they called on 3 college professors from Harvard. Law professors, actually. And all 3 of them were left-wing radical Democrats. So, and they're claiming to be, these are objective law professors. They know everything about the Constitution and whatever. No, just not. Like, especially like listening to what they were saying and all that. That's not even close to being objective. Like, they offer no reason whatsoever to why Trump shouldn't be impeached. In fact, like, most of them impose, like, one of them said that from the once like Trump was elected, that they wanted him impeached. So why these are considered like the top tier witnesses for impeachment, I don't know. Like, is this really what Democrats all they have right here? Is this all they have? It just seems. Yeah. Alright, sorry, but it makes no sense. But I mean, I encourage them to continue to go down this road, honestly. Like, keep going, and see where this leads you. Because I think in the end that Trump will probably be impeached in the House, but nothing will happen in the Senate. And I think this will ultimately backfire on the Democrats. Like, I just don't, because the American people are not up for this whatsoever. Again, like, of course, 2020 election is a year away, or less than a year away, so we'll see about that. But Democrats are, like, they're tuning their own horn. Like, they're not tuning their horn, but they're stomping their own feet during this whole thing. And, like, some of the kind of reaction from certain Democrats by this whole thing is just been ridiculous. So let's go to Nancy Pelosi.
Wait, I sit on the stand.
No.
And again.
Sorry. But, Nancy Pelosi is, as you know, the, Speaker of the House, and she has officially filed for impeachment against Trump. So that's why I say that Trump will likely be impeached or whatnot. But she was at, like, during her conference, like, she was asked a certain question about, like, because it's obvious the reason why Democrats do this is because they hate Trump. So she was asked to ask if she hates Trump, and here's what her response was. And let me actually find the clip. Okay, here's the clip for it. Again, just the audio.
HR Craig. Thank you very much. Thank you. Do you hate the president, Madam Speaker?
I don't hate anybody.
Representative Collins,
I was raised in a Catholic house. We don't hate anybody, not anybody in the world. So don't accuse me.
I did not accuse you.
You did.
I asked the question.
You did.
Representative Collins yesterday suggested that the Democrats are doing this simply because they don't like the
I
guy.
have nothing to do with it. Let me just say this.
I think it's an important
I
point.
think the president is a coward when it comes to helping our kids who are afraid of gun violence. I think he is cruel when he doesn't deal with helping our dreamers, of which we're very proud. I think he's in denial about the climate crisis. However, that's about the election. This is about the elect. Take it up in the election. This is about the Constitution of the United States and the facts that lead to the president's violation of his oath of office. And as a Catholic, I resent your using the word hate in a sentence that addresses me. I don't hate anyone. I was raised in a way that is a heart full of love, and always prayed for the president. And I still pray for the president. I pray for the president all the time. So don't mess with me when it comes to words like that.
She's Southern Charmer, isn't she? So, like, okay, so if you, like, didn't quite hear it, I know it was kind of bad audio, but basically she said that she was asked if she hates Trump, and she said no, she doesn't hate Trump, and, like, she said, as a Catholic, like, how dare you say that I hate someone? How dare you? I'm offended by that. Okay, so, I have problems with this. So for years, Democrats have been saying that if, say, Christians, like, since, like, obviously we believe that, homosexuality is a sin and all that. It says in the Bible. But Democrats say because we believe that we hate gay people. That's not true whatsoever. But the moment when someone says to a Democratic, Catholic, whatever, they say, like it's very bad for using the word hate in Nancy Pelosi in the same sentence. It's just so ridiculous and hypocritical. And this is why I just don't see the Democrats pulling off in 2020. In the House and Senate may be a different story, but in the presidency, I just don't see it. Because they're so awful. Like, really, they're very awful at everything. And they get offended by the littlest of things. So, if you didn't recall, probably, I think it was the last week, but Thanksgiving week, on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, President Trump posted a picture, a meme, on his Twitter, and it was basically There's a picture of him, like, hold on, let me actually find it. Okay, so it's basically a picture. It was, I think it's a poster from Rocky 3. It's basically, it's Sylvester Stallone in the picture, but instead of Sylvester Stallone's face, it's Trump's face. And, I mean, it's funny. I mean, to be honest, it's pretty funny that he posted that. Come on. I mean, I'm really surprised by this. Like, Trump posts memes all the time, so it's not surprising that it was hilarious. But, of course, people were offended by this. Like, they, like, saying, like, oh, how dare he do this? Trump is evil for posting memes or whatnot. So, like, here's what some of these media sites had to say about this whole thing. So here's a piece from the Washington Post about this. Wait a minute. Sorry, someone's over the Washington Post for some reason. So here's actually a piece from New York Post, and it's titled, President Trump tweets out doctor photo of his head on Rocky Balboa's body. Seriously? Seriously? We're going to get into this again? So here's what it says. Looks like someone's fixing for a fight. President Trump on Wednesday tweeted out a doctored image of his head superimposed over the body of a chiseled Rocky Balboa, the hard luck Philly tomato can turn champion immortalized on film by Sylvester Stallone. The Rocky 3 poster-inspired tweet came out as the commander-in-chief was reportedly playing golf at his Florida club while on Thanksgiving vacation at Mar-a-Lago, according to White House pool reports. The photo, posted at 10:54 a.m., shows the 6'3", 243-pound president looking straight ahead with a combative look on his face over an image of Stallone's ripped 5'2", 176-pound body, gloved fists at the ready, and a champion belt around his waist. It had no caption. Ooh, it had no caption. What was the context behind it? The White House didn't respond to a question about the significance of the photo, though Stallone is known to be a big fan of the president. Huh, I didn't actually know that. Cool. I love Donald Trump, the actor, told Variety for a story on his Rocky spinoff, Creed, 2016, when Trump was still the candidate. He's a great Dickinson character, you know what I mean? There are certain people like Arnold, Babe Ruth that are bigger than life. But I don't know how that translates to running the world. The president also alluded to his own purportedly robust health at his rally Tuesday night in Florida, referring to his surprise visit earlier this month to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Maryland. Okay, I'm done with this piece already. Like, are you serious? They wrote an entire piece about Trump posting a meme. Again, I mean, as you recall, 4 weeks ago, this same thing happened when first Daily Wire posted a meme of Trump getting the Medal of Honor to Conan the dog. And that was very bad. But then Trump reposted it, and that was very, very bad. And everyone went outraged, like, how dare he do this? Like, he's trying to manipulate the voters or whatever. Come on. It's a meme. You do not know what memes are? Like, seriously, anybody who's on social media should know what memes are. The only people who are probably outraged by this probably don't spend much time on the internet. That's my only logical conclusion to this. Like, there's no way, or they're looking for something to be outraged about. So to mess with the media and all that, and they deserve it full well. The Trump campaign came out and said, basically, that the photo was not doctored. It wasn't doctored at all. It was a real photo. Obviously it wasn't, but they're just messing with the media. But of course, the media took it as, oh, they said it's doctored. They actually believed that it was real. Ooh. But here's a piece from Newsweek about this. Donald Trump campaign disputes claim that photo of President as Rocky Balboa was doctored. Donald Trump's re-election campaign has claimed, perhaps with tongue-in-cheek, no crap, that there is no evidence. A picture of the president with a bot. I'm sorry. There's no evidence that the president with the body of Rocky Balboa was doctored. Team Trump accused the Washington Post of reporting that the image was doctored without evidence in a tweet. And it was in a tweet shortly after the president shared the meme of himself fictional boxing champion Rocky Balboa on the platform. The Post tweeted on Wednesday that it was unclear why the commander chief had published the doctor photo. Because he saw the meme and probably liked it and reposted it. That's what he does. For goodness sake. Responding to the Washington Post article reporting that Trump had doctored a photo of his head onto Sylvester Sly's body. Sorry. Team Trump jumped in on jokes about the image, tweeting, Washington Post claims, without evidence, that real Donald Trump shared a doctored photo. The president's eldest son, Donald Trump, has also jokingly suggested that the picture of his father with the body of Sylvester Stallone is legitimate. I've heard from reliable sources that it's not doctored. He retweeted in response to the Washington Post on Wednesday. So, yeah. I mean, the fact that Newsweek had to write a piece about this saying that, they said that was not doctored, that was real. Come on. I know they say that it was kind of jokingly and glad, but there were still some people that said, the president actually believes that was real or whatnot. They made the same claim with the Conan the dog meme, saying that the president wasn't sure if it was real or not. Again, I'm pretty freaking sure that President Trump would have known that he gave the Medal of Honor to a dog. I'm pretty sure he would have known that. I'm just saying. So, I mean, this is how garbage a media is right here. And this is why I'm still supporting Trump, because he goes after the media and they so richly deserve it for stuff like this. And of course, the media tries to back Democrats every move, but it's not going to help them in the end. It's just really not. So, I mean, 2020 is still less than a year away, but if I had to pin it now, I think Trump wins re-election. I think probably Republicans will win back the Senate. I don't know about the House, but we shall see. Hopefully they do, but we won't know until November next year. I mean, it's going to come faster than you think. I mean, this year's going to fly by fast in itself. Alrighty, let's get into some scripture. So we're going to be in John chapter 6. We're starting with verse 1, I believe. Yeah, verse 1 and ending in verse 14. And so this is about Jesus feeds the 5,000. And y'all can follow along all you want. I'll be in the New Living Translation. Let's get it from this angle. After this, Jesus crossed over to the far side of the Sea of Galilee, also known as the Sea of Tiberias. excuse me, a huge crowd kept following him wherever he went, because they saw his miraculous signs as he healed the sick. Then Jesus climbed a hill and sat down with his disciples around him. It was nearly time for the Jewish Passover celebration. Jesus soon saw a huge crowd of people coming to look for him. Turning to Philip, he asked, "Where can we buy bread to feed all these people?" He was testing Philip, for he already knew what he was going to do. Philip replied, "Even if we worked for months, we wouldn't have enough money to feed them." Then Andrew, Simon's brother, spoke up. "There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what good is that with this huge crowd?" "Tell everyone to sit down," Jesus said. So they all sat down on the grassy slopes. The men alone numbered about 5,000. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks to God, and distributed them to the people. Afterward, he did the same with the fish, and they all ate as much as they wanted. And after everyone was full, Jesus told his disciples, "Now gather the leftovers so that nothing is wasted." So they picked up the pieces and filled the 12 baskets with the scraps left by the people who had eaten from the 5 barley loaves. When the people saw him do this miraculous sign, they exclaimed, "Surely he is the prophet we have been expecting." When Jesus saw they were ready to force him to become their king, he slipped away into the hills by himself. Okay. Alright. So, obviously, if you, read, any of the Gospels or whatever, you probably know the story. He feeds, basically, this miraculous sign that he takes, basically 5 loaves of bread and, 2 fish, and able to make enough for everybody, 5,000 people. It's a pretty cool story. And I'm kind of at the end right here, where, he says, he slips, into the hill by himself, where even at them, they're ready to force him to become their king, whatever. I sound like Jesus, himself, while he was still God incarnate, God in flesh, he still needed to have time to himself with the Father, and that's what we need to do as well. But overall, this story is really, really cool. And it shows, if you I think it was in Matthew where it kind of goes in more detail about this, but basically, if you have enough faith in this, he's basically telling the disciples if they have enough faith, they would have enough food to feed everyone. And so yeah, it's a really cool story. So next week will be in John 16, Jesus walks on water and all that good stuff. Alrighty, so let's get into some good stuff and bad stuff of the week. So some good stuff of the week is that if you Black Widow is now officially coming out in the theaters, which has been long awaited. I don't know why they waited this long to make a Black Widow movie, but better late than never, I guess. But if you haven't seen the trailer, watch the trailer. It's really awesome, really good, and honestly, the trailer alone is 100 times better than Captain Marvel. So, I know it's probably blasphemous for some people, but it is. Captain Marvel wasn't bad per se. It was mediocre at best, but I didn't hate it, but it was not the best. It's definitely my least favorite MCU movie. But this movie looks really good, and it looks like a really good entry into the Phase 4 of Marvel. And I think, from what I've looked into, is actually, I always thought with the Black Widow movie, they would have gone back way in the past with the whole Budapest thing, but they're not for some reason. I really want to know what happened to Budapest, but I guess we'll never know. But this apparently takes place between Civil War and Infinity War, that 2-year gap, which is kind of interesting. that they want to put it there, but I mean, other than that, it looks really good. Can't wait to see. Wait to see, and it comes out May in 2020. All right, let's get into some bad stuff of the week. So some bad stuff of the week. This was just stupid. It's insane, ridiculous. So Peloton, if you don't know, Peloton's kind of exercise equipment company. They have bikes. I think they have ellipticals and all that good stuff as well. So they put out this ad the other day. And it's basically, the ad features a husband giving his wife a Peloton bike for Christmas. And it kind of shows her, like, going on it, like, throughout the year or whatever. So, yeah, that's pretty much the ad. But for some reason, everybody was outraged. Like, how dare this husband give his wife a Peloton bike? Like, is he calling her fat? He wants to put her under submissive authority. He's an abusive husband and all that good stuff. She should leave him and all that. What in the world? It's a Peloton bike. It's a Peloton bike, and here's the thing though. Like, what these people are outraged by this are assuming that they don't know what exercise is. The only thing that exercise is only for losing weight. No, but what they fail to realize is that there's plenty of healthy people that still exercise. So maybe she wanted this bike. Plot twist: many people will want this kind of bike. Maybe, like, wives will have their husbands for this bike, or vice versa. So, why there's an outrage over this little silly thing just makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's so stupid. And this tells you just how pathetic our society has gone. That they get outraged over the silliest little things. From Trump as a meme to a Peloton bike commercial. And over like, the Star Wars show on Disney Plus, Mandalorian, not having enough female characters in it. Okay, so what? It's good. I mean, I haven't watched it, but apparently it's a good show. I do plan on watching it, but okay. If you define your life about, if you see, like, you define your existence about whether or not you see people of your gender or race in movies whatsoever, like, get a better hobby, like redefining life or something like that, because that's very minute compared to other things that you need to worry about. Like, there's like so many, like, it's just so stupid, but it's what you expect from average culture, honestly. But over a Peloton bike, it's just, that makes no sense. Excuse me. Alrighty, so I think that's all I have for the day for the most part. So, alright, before I go, I do want to make this little pitch. With Christmas time coming and all that, parents are, giving their kids gifts and all that good stuff, and people, like, kids doing the Christmas with their families and all that. But unfortunately, there are kids that are not able to spend time with their families like that. And those are kids with cancer currently in hospitals taking treatment and all that. So the best, like, way to really support them during this time, especially Christmas time, because it's definitely a hard time for all of them. So the best way to do that is go through St. Jude Children's Hospital. They do a lot of good stuff with researching children's cancer and all that. So you can go to the website and you could do a once in thing donation, or you can do a monthly donation like I do. And you can pick however much money you want to give. But I really encourage y'all to do some kind of donation to them. They really deserve it and need the money. So, yeah. Alrighty, so before I go again, I do want to make this cool little announcement. So now, I'll be officially taking the God of Freedom show into podcast form. So this show will now be available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Google Play, and iTunes. So yeah, I'm really excited about that and see where this goes. And it's going to take time for me to get all posted and everything, but it's going to be my two goals for today is going to get it on Spotify and SoundCloud, and then kind of branch out from there. But definitely go check those out. And other than that, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week. My name's Sean Clinton, and this is the God of Freedom Show.